Welcome, football fans. Buckle up for another hard-hitting episode of Player 54 Podcast, an independent show focused solely on alternative and opportunity football. From a sunny Southwest Florida studio, here is your host, Michael Lathrop.
Hello, football fans. This is episode 131, Syndicate joins COFL. Welcome back to another Player 54 podcast and Pro Football Newsroom exclusive. Today's episode, we welcome Austin-based Texas Syndicate CEO Quincy Workman to discuss his team, joining the Continental Football League, and more. Welcome, Quincy. I appreciate you taking the time from your busy schedule and trip in Germany to appear on the show to discuss the Texas Syndicate joining the Continental Football League and possibly more.
Oh, well, thank you, sir, for having me. Yeah, work has me traveling a lot, but I make time for the league anytime I can.
Life is busy for everyone. It just doesn't take us all to Germany or halfway around the world, so that's pretty cool. But again, I appreciate it. So, Quincy, for those who are not aware of the Texas Syndicate at all, right, I believe it would be beneficial to share where the organization's origins came about. Can you take a moment to provide us with an idea of how the Texas Syndicate came into existence and the initial formation of it?
Sure. Well, as many people might know, I'm a vet, and I also have a son that plays professional football. He's actually playing for the Duluth Monsters right now. They just won a championship. Shout out to Duluth of their ownership team is kind of helping me out and giving me some pointers along the way. But this spring, I was a part of some things, and they didn't happen the way we wanted them to. And I felt that I wanted to be involved and see if I could help out. With my military background, one of the things that we've always been taught and it's ingrained in us, if we see a problem or we see something, we try to figure out a way to fix it or see how we can help to make it better. And one thing I saw was from my son doing his travels with different overseas teams, um, I felt that it should be a team here, or at least an organization or a league here to where um, these guys should be able to get the you know, same type of play or better here in the States. There's no way we should always have to send our kids overseas, which is no problem with going overseas, as I'm overseas right now. But some kids would rather stay home and have their families come and see them play at a high level. So I talked with a few people, and they was like, "Well, if you're passionate about it, start one. I mean, don't talk about it, be about it." So that's what I ended up doing. I talked to a couple of players, and I was like, "Hey, if I start this up, what would y'all do?" And they was like, "Hey, sir, if you start it, we with you." So I did the process of researching and vetting a few different areas and making sure I found the area that would embrace the team as a whole. And I just went for it.
So, I have gone through social media, right, combing through it, the website, right, and so you kind of get a vibe or of what a company or a team organization's about. And the Texas Syndicate are not the first team, or the lack of a better term, mentioned that they claim this approach in operations will be new and different. Right. I think these are terms that are regurgitated a lot, or just kind of they reverb off, echoing from one thing after another. Can you please enlighten us how the syndicate are truly going to be different from any team or organization that has previously existed?
Well, I can speak from myself personally. Um, I'm building my team towards being a family unit. That's how I am. I'm very transparent. I believe in trust, honesty, and putting it all out there. So if I'm gonna put my all out there, I need you to give your all. So I talk with each one of the players that we bring in, each one of the staff members, and I want to ensure that their goal is to make it to a bigger league. I need kids that are hungry, and I want them to have that opportunity. One other thing that I plan on doing with our organization is when these young men come in, I've already arranged for financial planners to come in and actually sit down and give them classes. So if they do make it to that next level, they'll have a little bit more financial literacy ingrained in them. Some might already come into it, but for those that haven't been exposed to it, I want to expose them to it because, like they said, we are a developmental league. So part of what I see is in developmental is making sure they're developed financially as well as physically. And one other thing that might be a little bit different, I also have a sports psychologist that's available on staff to actually talk to these guys about the mental part of playing in the game and to help them out with things like that. Because I've seen it from my son's standpoint, and I've also seen it from my daughter, who was she placed in state in wrestling 2 years in a row. And I seen how the mental toll of it affected her. So I wanted to make sure if I was going to start something, I wanted to make sure that we're doing it right, and I wanted to cover as much aspects as different as we can. So I mean, that in itself, I think might push us a little bit different than everybody else, but I don't know. I'm still new at this. I'm brand new to the whole thing. I mean, so I'm learning as we go.
Well, I mean, when we look at this space, right? Whether it's the not top level of sports, right? May not be semi-pro, but in between. Whether we look at baseball, double A, triple A, double A, single A, independent ball. Like there's a whole bunch of tiers in there, but usually with businesses or teams starting out, there's not a whole lot of resources going into the extra stuff. So that's probably the stuff that even if it did exist in this level, right? Whether it's football, whether it's baseball, hockey, whatever, that probably doesn't exist usually in a startup, especially that's not tied to a system that is aided by Major League Baseball with how minor league baseball or the AHL teams or ACHL teams are with ties to the National Hockey League and stuff like that. So with no ties and independent owners, that seems to be pretty encouraging. I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and put you guys on a shelf, but it's not like you're just coming in. All right, we're just going to put together a team. I know the Continental Football League is doing things different, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But it is encouraging to hear, leadership coming in with a way of all right, we're going to not only create a team, but we got to make sure that the guys are taken care of. Financial literacy is a huge thing. One, these guys are not making, $50 million a year like some NFL quarterbacks are making or whatever. So yes, one, they got to know how to handle their finances. Being a professional is not just coming out and playing the game underneath the bright lights, so to speak, but it also comes with everything else attached to it, right? So you got to carry yourself a certain way off the field, but not to think that you're also one of those guys in the National Football League trying to live that lifestyle when you can. So that's smart. But the psychology part, I think just times are very different. And when we know what we know and we can do things about it, I think that's huge. So that's very interesting because I haven't heard a lot of that coming out of anybody, right? And there's a bunch of football leagues in this space now, and any of the teams affiliated to it, I haven't heard that come from. So I will say that does sound very different. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you, sir. I mean,
You're welcome.
coming from a military background and a logistics background in military, we're taught to think of something from cradle to grave. So we try to figure out what we need to get it, to maintain it, to make sure that it works. And when it's time for us to get move past it, how we're going to dispose of it. So we got to make sure. My train of thinking is I need to make sure I'm looking at every facet of these guys' lives, and if I can help it during the time when they're with us, then that's what I want to do.
So the syndicate became social media official. I don't know when you guys, kind of became official, like as far as an entity, but it became social media official back in, I believe it was June. And shortly after, the Professional Independent Football League posted to their social media accounts that the syndicate were participating in their inaugural 2026 season. since then, obviously, the PIFL social media accounts have scrubbed their accounts, and there's no mention of your team. So, I mean, I've seen some things out there with people that are wondering, oh, okay, there's this and there's that, the affiliation. But seeing that your organization never announced the affiliation with the PIFL, can you provide us some clarity to the confusion that many fans may have surrounding the PIFL and the Texas Syndicate mix-up?
Sure. So I'm a very transparent person, so I can tell you, when the organization started, we started in June. Actually, June 24th was our official inauguration, inception to the state of Texas date. And I was looking for a league. Um, Again, I was talking with a few people, and in the beginning, I've heard about what Manny and Commissioner Kelly was thinking about doing, but early off at the time, they weren't thinking about coming out west towards our area. They wanted to stay more up in the Northeast. So I had to start figuring out which league would be best fit for my guys and me to be in. So I was very honest with everybody, the PLFL, the COFL, a couple of arena leagues. I said I wanted to vet everybody to make sure that we would be a perfect fit for that organization. And I told everybody I wanted to make a decision by the time I was leaving to come to Germany. Everybody knew that. And I had one meeting left with one league. And I told everybody after I had that one meeting that I would make up my mind on what I was going to do. So I talked with all the leagues. I had my last meeting, and then I sat down and talked everything through. I got one of my players, and we talked, and then I talked with my wife, and then I had to go with who I felt more comfortable with and was more transparent with me. And they came out to be the COFL. I mean, all kudos to the PLFL. I'm still friends with a few of those owners, and I wish them the best. I hope they come through and kill it. But I mean, at the time, it was just, I didn't feel it was a good fit for me at the time. So I had to go where my gut told me I needed to be, and it was where I'm at now.
Well, it's like anything, and my wife will probably, kill me for saying this. So, everyone just keep an eye on the headlines. I'm just saying, but it's like kind of courting, a prospective partner, right? So you have X amount of options to you. It's not that any of them are horrible options, right? Some might be, some might not be, but there's always going to be one that just kind of head and shoulders, right? More, whether it's,
Right.
I won't get into the particulars, but so everyone has their types, right? For whatever reason, whether it's physically, intellectually, whatever it is. So I get it. It's not necessarily a shot at somebody else. It's just, I'm kind of curious without kind of casting shade on any of the arena leagues, the PIFL. I wonder what it, and I'm sure other people do as well. What key areas was it that kind of was the vetting process that really was more important for you? You talk about your guys, but there must be a couple areas in what it was that put the COFL head and shoulders.
Um, well, I had to look at it from a standpoint of a father as well. Like I said, my son plays for the Duluth Monsters, and coming out of college, he didn't. I would say college wasn't his forte. I mean, my son is 6'6", around 215, runs like a four, probably like a 4.4, 4.5 right now, with like a 40-inch vertical. Didn't play but 1 year really in college where he was actually pretty good. So my whole vetting purpose with release was who was gonna help me get these guys better looks, who was actually building an organization that was geared towards helping these guys move to the next level. Not about making money, not about their shine, but who is trying to focus really on the players. Because, like I told you, my thing is about the players. I want to make sure they're financially, I want to make sure they're mentally health. So I had to make sure I aligned with an organization that I felt was 100% going to look out for the players and not looking out just for themselves. Not saying that all of the other leagues were doing that, but the CFL, I mean the CLF, the COFL, just the background just felt a little bit better.
Yeah, the acronym is going to take a little bit to get used to it, right? Because
Yes.
we're trying to add an O out of the first word, just only because the CFLs already exist, north of the border. So, right, it's going to take a little bit to get used to, because it's easy just to roll off like the three acronyms, like I would typically do, unless there's four words. But I'm like, so now that's the tough part. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's kind of a little awkward. But hey, in due time, we'll all get, adjusted to it. So, now that your affiliation with the Continental Football League is secured, right, publicly announced, what can we expect to see from the Texas Syndicate in the coming weeks and months?
Um, Growth and a lot of community interaction. We are built on bridging the gap and being in the community. Um, Even if you say you were going through our Facebook, I mean our social media, you will see that we have been out in the community since before we even announced we were going to be with any leagues. We've done back to school drives, we've done homeless women's shelters, volunteering with those. We've done a lot of things. So my guys will be out in the community doing a lot of promotion and helping out. We got a community event that we're doing in Pflugerville on October 4th. My general manager and my quarterback and maybe one other player will be out there, trying to meet the community, tell everybody who we are, and then we're just going to spread our way around. We have a trial coming up in Houston area. We're going to do a tryout in San Antonio. We're going to probably do a tryout in Dallas. I mean, we're Central Texas. We want to make sure that we can pull a pool from everyone. So we're going to be out there. We're going to do things in San Antonio. We're going to do things in Houston. We're just going to be in Texas, and we're just going to be out there in the community. So you will see a lot of us being out there in the community.
Earlier this month, Ned Harrington was announced as general manager. What can we expect to see from Ned as he builds the Syndicate's coaching staff and roster?
Hunger. I will say hunger. And it drew me to him actually. I mean, he's young. He's actually younger than a few of our players, but in talking to him and interviewing with him, he's just hungry. He has a passion for it. He wants to build something special, and he rings me in. He's like, "Sir, I don't think we need to do that just yet. We're not there yet. Let's kind of step it back a little bit and let's focus on this. Let's try to get this in place first." So I feel that we will make a good team because everybody needs someone that's not going to be afraid to tell them, hey, let's step back a little bit. I don't need yes men in my organization. I mean, yes men are good for show, but to actually get things done, I can't be right all the time. Nobody's right 100% of the time. So you need somebody that's going to be there to help rein you in or be like, hey, maybe you want to look at this way here, sir. But be respectful about it too. So he was just hungry. We had a nice little meeting in Houston. I met his girlfriend. We ate, and he just really blew me away with just his honesty.
It's one of those things. Yes men, right? I know it's not football related, but it shows a position of strength to the external world from an organization, right? It shows that there is continuity, there's unity, however you want to. That's what it shows. But internally, sometimes people are just like you said, are afraid to say anything, and it may be the wrong thing. And I've experienced a lot of things within corporate America, and I can see the places. Michael Jordan himself running, when it used to be the Bobcats turned Hornets. he at one point publicly acknowledged that he had too many yes men involved, and that's where, when they were talking about doing things, they just went forward with it because he's the GOAT, right? Like you can't come in and, well, it didn't go as well as people had hoped, right? So you're right. I mean, it does come a point, no one wants to be told they're wrong, or no one wants to be told their idea is slightly flawed. But yeah, no, I agree. Like sometimes that tells me also a little bit about the organization, that you guys are really looking at, no, it's great to have a hunger and want to move forward and do things, but maybe timing, right? You got to stop and take a look at the bigger picture. So that's encouraging as well. Also, back on September 1st, signing of former Corpus Christi Tritons quarterback Jeremy Hunt was announced by the team on social media. I would imagine that the historical significance of signing the team's first player is very important. So, what does the organization see in Jeremy and anticipate the Syndicate's fans experiencing from his play on the field when it comes time?
So, me and Jeremy have a history due to the fact of my son. Him and my son played together in Corpus last season whenever he was down there. And that's how I met him, through their interactions. And he was the first quarterback, not knocking on anybody, but he was one of the first quarterbacks I ever seen actually throw my son the ball where he could actually catch it. Like, my son is 6'6", and he was putting the ball up in the air to where he could go and get it, and not throwing it to my son like he was 5'10". So
The difference. Yeah.
that in itself showed me that he knew his football stuff. And then I mean, it's well documented history that Corpus had some problems towards the end of last season, and the way he handled it was very professional. So once the IFA came into the picture, him and my son were talking about joining that last spring, and Jeremy moved to San Antonio, and I got to know him a little bit better. So Jeremy has been a part of the organization from conception. He was one of the guys that actually talked to me and was like, "Hey, sir, I think you could actually do this. I mean, if you do it, I'm gonna rock with you. But I mean, you have a good heart, you got a good mind for it, you're a people person. I think you should be able to do it." And his play is pretty decent. I mean, he's gonna go out there and give it all. He has if I needed something, he has been there. "Hey, Jeremy, I need us to go down to a volunteer shelter and do this." "Yes, sir, I'm there." Um, "And we need to go talk to these kids real quick." "All right, sir, I'm there." So he's been there since day one, helping out, volunteering, giving up his time, even though before we even had a league, see we are gonna have a season, he's been, "Hey, sir, I'm with you and I'm gonna rock with you." And he's been there. So um with that loyalty and that respect, I mean, of course, I'm gonna show him what he has to do. Now, he is gonna have to go on the field and earn it. He is there. And he knows that if things don't rock the right way, things can move. I mean, things gonna move because it is a business, and he understands that things are a business. But he has first shot, and he's gonna keep first shot as long as he do what he has to do, because he has been loyal and he's been transparent and he's been there. And that's one of the things. Like I said, I'm very transparent. I'm very loyal. And if you can do that for me and you rocking with me, I'm gonna rock with you. And that's what I want all the players to know. Like, I've
Well, I
talked to a
mean,
lot of players, and I've told them, they was like, "Hey, we want to come with you, but we want to go to the UFL, or we're doing this." I'm like, "Hey, go try out for the UFL. My goal is to get you to the UFL or the XFL or the CFL or the NFL. So why would I sit here and tell you no? Don't go do that. I don't want you on my team if you can already play there. If you are talented enough to play there already, why are you with me? Now, if you're not, I want to get you there. That's our goal. But if you are talented enough to get there, go there. I'm gonna be your biggest rock star. But if things don't work out and we still got a spot for you, then come on back and let's work on getting you there next time. but don't hold back opportunities trying to wait on this. We're gonna come and we're gonna be there. That's our goal, is to be there. So I push all my players to go do what you got to do, and then come if things don't work out, then come back to us. If we got a spot, we good. But if not, then we gonna work something out, and I help you get someplace else. But never hold out an opportunity waiting on something else.
It's interesting how when again I'll go back to these other pyramids, right? Or however the ladders, the rungs that kind of get you to the top league, the show, the majors, whatever they want to call the stuff, right? It's funny how you look at certain things and baseball doesn't have that stigma, right? Coming all the way up through, right? The different rungs, the different steps. And but yet with football, the nation's most popular sport, there seems to be anything beneath that. Like I even know the United Football League right now kind of has its own stigma. There's only so many people that want to tune into it or want to, give it any. But it's interesting how, there's people for whatever reasons. It could be the size school you came from. It's not that you don't have the talent. You just need the platform to kind of compare that now against the bigger school, right? Players or the players that are bouncing back off injuries out of the National Football League or wherever, right? And so now you might be, a UFL talent or a CFL talent, but maybe your injuries now have kind of hindered you in the past couple of years. Not that your age out by any means, not that you're past it. Maybe you just need to kind of bounce back, get your feet back underneath you. I can see where it makes sense to have this pathway in the mindset of an owner or leadership, coaches that are tied into this. Yes, they use the term developmental, but some of it might just be it's part of the system, right? Just to help get everyone through it. And I know everyone wants to run theirs and put their thing first, and it's a business, so their bottom lines, that makes sense. But it makes sense to keep coming back to. I know fans are going to be, oh, that word developmental. Well, we don't have a problem with a double A or triple A baseball. We do not. And how many guys are coming back off from the majors doing rehab stints, or guys that are out of a contract because they have a couple bad years, either injuries or just had some bad slumps, and they're all of a sudden they sign that independent contract, right, to go play it, and then they bounce back, right? They get that minor league deal, and then a major league team picks them back up. I don't see it as a problem as many people do. I'm kind of baffled by it because it's our top sport, but I'm encouraged when I keep hearing people. Yes, they're using the term development, but I mean, I think it's also just opportunity, right? A developmental opportunity, whatever it is, alternative space. But I don't see it really as an alternative. I mean, I see it as there's been a proven pathway for other sports to do it for a number of years. I mean, decades, right? And then all of a sudden, like, how do we not have it here? So I'm encouraged to keep hearing the people that are part of its development, right? It's part of we're just part of the process. We're not going to hold you back, but we're going to give you that opportunity, right? We're going to give you that stage, so to speak, right? To be able to show what you can do. Again, it's not going to be given. I love that too, because, some people that's what I think the stigma comes in with this developmental stuff, semi-pro stuff, right? These are my boys. These are my, these are the people that have always rocked to me. And it's just like, okay, we're going to roll out with who we got. But it does sound different. And I mean, I think that's encouraging. Again, I can't speak for everybody, but I see this from the bigger picture. And I sometimes I wonder if other people just kind of fall in, well, if it's not the NFL, it's semi-pro. Well, I mean, there's a whole lot of space in between there that is very disingenuous just to tag it that way.
True. It's gonna I feel it's gonna be that marketing. It's gonna be marketing and getting people actually used to it. Um, like with anything, if you don't put it out there for people to see it and to understand it, then they're gonna make their own opinions of it and gonna have their own thoughts. So as long as we bring this out the right way and we put our all into it and be transparent with everyone to know this is what we're doing, this is what we want to do, and this is what we're trying to accomplish. And as long as we stay true to what we are saying we're going to do, I think it's going to work out, and the people are going to start gravitating towards it because you're right. It's not nothing there for it. It's a wide open space that is needed and can grow as long as we're doing it for the right reasons and we put the right things out there.
everything's going to take time. We can't expect, the COFL. We can't expect any of these other leagues, PIFL, you know, IFA, all these things in this space. We can't expect them all of a sudden just to be like how these other sports have been around with their tiered system for decades. I mean, it's just going to take time, and we have to understand it's for the betterment of not just the young people, but for the sport, right? If we want to see better stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh, the NFL's got college football." Well, the NBA has, you know, college basketball. The NHL has college hockey, baseball. MLB has college. They still utilize the system. They're going through it, but it's always the guys also from the smaller schools that really just never get. Everyone's discredited football. It's always Power Five, Power now Power Four, right? Because the whole Pac-10 thing is a little different. But if you didn't play for that, like everyone kind of discredits. But I mean, there's just so much talent that comes through at Division II levels. I mean, and whatever. I mean, the Tyreek Hills. I know I bring guys up like that all the time, but I mean, like, come on, it's pretty crazy. But I don't want to dwell on that too much. So I know I mentioned we're going to try to keep it around 25 minutes. So before I let you go, I'm certain that I discussed or brought up things, right, to lead the conversation. But is there anything that I have not touched on that you feel is important? Whether it's about the Texas Syndicate, whether it's the Continental Football League, that you believe is very important to share at this moment in time to those tuning in?
Well, one thing that I know is going to come up eventually is our name, the Texas Syndicate. Um, there is a organization that also shares the same name that isn't replicable. But what I want people to know is that we have no affiliations with that organization other than a name. Um, and I want people to give us a shot. Don't just think a name and Google a name and um, stigmatize the organization off of not doing your research on what's going on because you type in two words and if you add two more letters, something else is going to come up. So that's one of the things I was seeing on social media a lot. People were coming on us about, well, you should change your name. You're representing something. No, I'm representing a community of people. The Austin area is a syndicate. It's the new Tech Valley of the US. It is so many different intertwined people trying to make a wonderful place that I think it should be recognized, not just because of one past history on it. I mean, that's just my little soapbox. But other than that, I think everything else is great. I like to personally thank Mr. Kelly for allowing us to join the organization. Um, it was a blessing, and I look forward to doing whatever I can to help the organization and the league as a whole do better and make sure we're out there doing the right things and represent the league the best way we can. And I thank you for having us on and showcasing us to people and helping us out there. Um, One thing we will have to do, and one thing I feel is one thing some of the other leagues get wrong is they don't market and they don't put their self out there enough to where people are going to find them, or they take advantage or feel they already have the space, so they don't feel they need to do more. So thank you for giving us this opportunity and helping to spread the word about us.
You are welcome. And to anybody else that I've had on, they are all welcome, whether they've said thank you or not. It's interesting because the space, I look at it from the fans' point because that's where I came in before I ever got into doing this, podcasting or getting in the media, writing articles with PFN or anything like that. So I came in from a fan, and as always, there wasn't enough, right? It doesn't matter if it was leagues, the teams in this space, for whatever reason, there is a hunger. It might be a niche market, a smaller percentage of the football, but they're diehard fans and they just want the information. They crave it. They seek it. I mean, they're trying to unearth things. It's like it's funny. It's almost like conspiracy theories, the way they try to connect dots and stuff. But they're so hungry because what have we learned? from this sport. The National Football League is king at getting information out there. They own the 365 calendar and 366 on leap year. They know how to and it's funny. And I'm not saying people need to be insiders, in this space, but the NFL doesn't try to discredit Adam Schefter and the Ian Rappaport. It's interesting how media outlets or certain people are really brought into it, and they're not afraid of a leak. And I'm not saying all leaks are good, because if they're not vetted right, things can be premature, no doubt, no doubt. But it is funny because there are platforms, and a lot of leagues are not utilizing those platforms. And I can tell you from experience of people that I've had communication with, the ones that are very open to building relationships, and those are very strong relationships that I've built within those spaces, and the ones that just think that for whatever reason, maybe I'm not the right fit, that's fine. But there are a lot of other people in the space, and they don't build those relationships. And I think it's hindered. I think that's why a lot of the leagues that have come are also gone. I think they're free marketing, right? Whether it's through print, whether it's through putting I know ESPN and Fox Sports and NBC Sports, CBS Sports are not calling and blowing up, whether it's your phone or a lot of people in the space. So I'm always baffled by that. And I know the fans are always just like, why is everything a secret? Why is it that we can't get these people when, anybody else, they're always accessible? Like you got, not to bag on the United Football League, but a lot of the people that are in the PR departments for some of the teams will not let players do interviews unless it's coordinated through the PR office. And that's horrible. I think it is hindering the United Football League significantly. And I'm not here to bash, just saying like it is interesting, but you are welcome, as well as anybody else. This is a platform trying to build this space, trying to help, whether it's the Continental Football League, whether it's some other leagues. But this is, I think we're all in it together. We're all in it from different angles, but you're welcome. And I'm just, I appreciate it. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show to discuss the Texas Syndicate, the Continental Football League, even though it's a fairly new relationship. But I imagine the next several months, it's going to be super busy and vital to your organization as they prepare for the inaugural season here, the COFL, as I keep trying to get that right myself. But I wish you, the syndicate, the league, everyone, the best of luck, because you guys are all in it together, right? The players, the organizations, the league, and all the partners that are tied to it. That is going to help keep the money flowing into this thing. So, but if you're interested, and I hope you are, maybe down the road, we could coordinate another appearance to discuss the state of the syndicate and the COFL. Yeah, I keep doing it too. I'm human, man. But no, I would love to have you back. Who knows in due time.
I'm open as long as I have availability and I'm not somewhere in the US or the world. Hey, I'm there. And if I'm not available, I'll make sure that either someone on the staff or one of the players or somebody will be able to come up and represent us well. So
Well, that's always awesome too. I mean, sometimes different perspectives. You're not just like, the spokesperson, right? If it's a general manager, head coach, if it's a player, those are good things because it's the access. Sometimes that's what the fans are looking for, right? They just want to hear more.
yeah.
They want to get to know the people that they're watching, they're rooting for, right? A rooting interest, the people they're wearing the t-shirt for. It builds a bigger sense of attachment, I think, once you kind of know more.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah,
before
once I get my staff together, you'll see a little bit less of me and more of them out in front. I'm a kind of a shy person, and
oh, gotcha.
kind of stay away, but I let them have the spotlight and do what they need to do, and let me just go back into the background and just help out when I need to help out or say what I need to say. But I mean, those are guys who are going to make everything happen. I'm just trying to put them together. They got to actually go out there and do the work, and they got to do the hard stuff. I'm here trying to get the easy stuff, get everything set up. So I mean, situated. But those are the ones who got to go out there and be the faces and make sure the organization is running right and we got the right players and we're playing right and they're looking good and they're doing what they got to do and they're in shape and I mean, they got to do all that stuff. I'm just here to, talk and make sure everything else is right. My job is to give them what they need to be successful. And once I get everything situated, that's my plan, is to make sure I give them what they need to be successful. And then I can sit back and we can have conversations and talk and, do everything we need to do and let them go handle their business.
Well, you've done your part. You've got a league now. I think you're with some really good leadership from, the conversations I've had with those involved. And so I think it's heading in the right direction. I look forward to everything. There's another 6 teams yet to get announced, just to find out what those markets are and see what those will look like. Start to see what those rivalries will look like, because it's all regionally based. So I'm looking forward to a lot. I know a lot of people I've talked to that are not in the media space or this podcasting space. They're also like, oh, hey, this sounds interesting, and fan ownership, community based stuff. That's, I think, is absolutely huge. But so before we go, to help spark some of that or help fill that, can you share or inform our listeners where they can follow, on social media, maybe the website, or wherever they can start to get more information? Because now that the cat's out of the bag, like I mentioned, people are going to be looking for it. They're going to be craving it.
That is true. So we are on all social media platforms at Texas Syndicate FB on everything. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, Snapchat. I think we're on Snapchat now, and I think Ned is about to do a TikTok soon too. Website is TexasSyndicateGroup.com. We also have a store. We got our little merchandise we're starting out already.
There you go.
Yeah,
Eat, sleep, football. Oh, repeat. Okay, it took a little bit for that to focus in. There you go.
Yeah. We gotta, since we're part of a league now, I gotta modify, put the league emblem up on here some other ways, but gotta represent the right way. But we got a store that people can go on if they want to start purchasing merchandise and everything. We just did a jersey giveaway. I was doing promo jerseys before I joined the league, so I have a lot of promo jerseys, uniforms we were trying to vet, but we're giving away jerseys. So whoever tweets out and gets the more people to follow. As of right now, I think I know who's going to win. So we might give him a preempted jersey because he's been rocking with us since day one.
Gotcha.
And I'm not going to say it on right now, but I'll let him know. I might just send him one prematurely and just let somebody else get another one. But I think we're pretty good. We want to make sure we're there for the fans, and we're going to give them something to root for and put an exciting product out there on the field.
All right, well, perfect. Thank you, Quincy. Enjoy the rest of your trip there in Germany.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Although Quincy was on a business trip in Germany, we are fortunate that he could make time to discuss the latest developments pertaining to the Texas Syndicate and the Continental Football League. Seeing everything is still new, we all need to stay tuned as the Texas Syndicate and Continental Football League reveal more information as they prepare to kick off in 2026. That concludes another show. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to having everyone back soon for an all-new episode of Player 54 Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into today's show. You can support the show and our partners by using code PLAYER54 at checkout at any of the following websites: RoyalRetros.com, where you can save 15%, TrueVictory.com, where you can save 15%, BuckedUp.com, where you can save 20%, ImpactMouthguards.com, where you can save 10%, HobbyArmor.com, where you can save 5%, JustMeatJerky.com, where you can save 10%. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe and rate Player 54 Podcast on your platforms of choice. Do you have a question or topic you would like to have discussed on the show? Message us via social media or send an email to player54podcast@gmail.com.